The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show...
We come to it at last. The great battle of our time.
Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. I'm Riggs and I'm here with my pal Addy. What's happening, man? What's going on?
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, we're late. We're late. That's totally my fault because I got busy with work and we lost our opportunity to record on the day we normally record. So we're a week late. So we didn't hold to our weekly thing at all. So sorry, everybody. But next week you get 2 episodes. You get this one and you get the Halloween one. So eat a bag of salt and vinegar dicks. What's been going on?
Just a bag of dicks is fine too.
Just a fucking, just plain dicks?
Yeah, probably just plain dicks.
Not like smoky barbecue dicks or chicken dicks. Chicken dicks sounds too specific. That's like actual, something that has a dick. You can't say that that's the flavour, you know?
It sounds almost as disgusting as bull penis, and I still don't know why that is a thing.
Bull penis?
Yeah.
Do people eat bull penis?
Well, do you remember the James Corden show?
Oh, not really. I know who he is, but I didn't know he had did he have a late night show or something? Or?
Yeah, he used to have this bit where we used to bring celebrities, and the bit was called "Eat It" or "Spill Your Guts" or "Eat Your Guts," and it was horrible food like bull penis and scorpion smoothie and all that shit. And you would ask like a controversial question to a celebrity, and if they couldn't answer that, then they would eat that. And all of a sudden, it's horrible.
Why people shouldn't eat stuff that's not like penis? What does that do for you, really? I mean, there's
nothing there.
Covered in chocolate, just ridiculous. I don't know. Anyway, how the fuck did we get there? Like, we haven't even been recording for 3 minutes and already we're on bull penises eating and stuff. Anyway, fuck James Corden and all of his bull penis eating. It's Ring Joel Part 3. We're talking about Return of the King. I'm very excited to finish this up. It was a really good rewatch. I did the extended again. But before we kind of like get into all of that and talk about the big final, because it's going to be a long one, I must tell you, I know that we're going to talk about this in what we watched and all that kind of stuff, but fuck, man, the Superman documentary about Christopher Reeve, I've got to tell you about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah. So do you want to do What Are We Watching?
Let's do What Are We Watching?
What are we...
watching?
Ooh, that was a sexy one. I like that. What are we watching? It's very cool. I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. But first, before I talk about Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, I've got to talk to you about Joker.
Yes, please.
Folie à deux. I went and saw it with Alex, my camera assistant, and she's a big DC fan, and she likes the character of the Joker and all that stuff. And it was totally fine, man. It was totally fine. I don't get what everybody's fucking problem is. And I was said to her, why do you think people don't like it? And she said, I reckon it's because people are over sequels and over comic book movies. It's post-COVID as well. The first one came out in 2019, I think, or 2018. So maybe there's just less stomach for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's glamorizing a murderer. I feel like it's, in the end, he's kind of a joke because he's not. I mean, spoilers if you haven't seen Joker 2, but 3, 2, 1, I'm going to spoil stuff now. He's not the Joker. The real Joker appears at the end, and he's the guy who's influenced, and he's, this guy, this Alec, not Alex, sorry, what's his name? Someone or other, Arthur Fleck, is a proxy, for what the Joker would be. And yeah, and the musical thing, like they were all really raw, like on set recordings, and it was interesting. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand what what the problem is. I don't know why it did so badly compared to the first one. But I think it's bad press. I was talking to my business partner Dan about it, and he loved it. He really liked the first one, and he said it's a real strong critique on how we deal with mental illness in society, and how these people are, marginalized so much that they end up doing extreme things. Just how, Lady Gaga is the villain in that movie. She's perfectly insane. She knows what she's doing. She's manipulating him. She wants a result, which is far more sociopathic than he is. And I think he's not sociopathic because he has the clarity at the end to say, I'm not the Joker. There is no Joker. So yeah, I thought it was interesting, the courtroom drama of it and stuff. Yeah, I just don't understand all the hate. But whatever. It's, people like what they like.
I totally get it. I haven't watched it again. I don't intend to, but I'm not as hateful to it as I was when you recorded last time. I think for me, it just came down to me not liking Joker as a whole. So it didn't make sense for me to go watch a sequel of a movie that I didn't like that much.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're not the audience for that. I don't think at this point. You're not the mark if you didn't like the first one. If you didn't like the first one, you're gonna fucking hate this one because it's just more of it and singing. But anyway, whatever. And then the same day, I saw me some Super/Man, and fuck. I was crying within the first 5 minutes. It's such a beautifully articulate and comprehensive documentary, and it's kind of told from his POV, but it's told by his children. And I didn't realize he had children from multiple partners. He had two wives, and his first two children were from his first marriage, and his second was from his second marriage. And geez, his son looks so much like him. And yeah, his story is just, Christopher Reeve's story is just so ridiculously gut-wrenching. A Superman becoming a paraplegic is and there's all the whole thing about the Superman curse and all that stuff and whatever. It's just, it was a bad situation that happened. They even say it, 1 or 2 inches to the left or right, and he walks away from that accident, or his neck snaps and he's dead. So it was kind of in the middle there. And yeah, just hearing him talk about it and the grace that he showed. He wasn't a perfect person, but his ability to keep moving forward and to try and figure it out and become a beacon. They even say at one point, there are people walking today because Christopher Reeve was a paraplegic. So yeah, really, really powerful. And an exceptionally well put together documentary as well. It's not just about how incredible the story is, it's really well made. So everybody get out there and see it. If you want to feel, positive and realize that one day you're walking around as Superman and the next day, you can't feel anything from below the neck, and just how grateful you should be for whatever it is that you have, and the day-to-day and being in the moment and living in the now. Yeah, just go and peep that movie. It's really good. I think it's still in the rounds at cinemas now.
I'm really scared to watch it. It comes out, it's only here for a day. It comes out on Halloween.
What a fucking weird day to release that picture.
I know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I suppose it is about a ghost, technically. Well, he's dead. It's yeah, let's not throwing shade at the dude. He's a dead person. It's okay. You'll love this. Is a Superman movie you can get behind. So, what have you been watching? Tell me about your stuff. I
have been watching Schitt's Creek, and I love it so much.
It's a perfect show.
I didn't love it the last time, and I ended after season 1, but I started with season 2, and man, it's so good.
What did you not like about it the first time?
I don't know. I don't think I was in the right headspace to watch a sitcom.
You have to kind of get over the fact that they're kind of rich assholes as well. That first season in particular is that I know they're the butt of all the jokes, but still, you've got to go. That's a pretty big leap to get on board with them. But fuck, it gets good, man. And it's such a modern way to tell a story. It has its roots in the way that we are now so much.
I think with season 1 I had the same like the same problem I had with the entirety of Succession is that I cannot like watch rich people. It's just that simple. Like there's a disconnect there that I don't think will ever like come together. Like there will always be like that. Well, they're rich and shit, but this like it's more towards them accepting the reality where Succession is. It's just rich people being assholes to each other, and then like who can you relate to? Who's the least asshole?
Yeah, exactly. Who's the least worst person here? I feel that way about. I tried to watch Yellowstone because I really like. I think was it Tyler Sheridan, the guy who created that show. He's made a bunch of movies. Like he wrote Sicario and Wind River and stuff. But anyway, that guy. And I'm just like, this is just a bunch of like low key. Actually, not even low key. Like they're racist landowners who own land in America that doesn't belong to them. Like, you know, I'm like, why would I sympathize with anybody here? They're all fucking horrible people. You know, I don't know. It's just not for me. But what else have you been watching?
I'm gonna leave the big one for like the end. But
okay.
I'm gonna open my letterbox because I watched like good fucking movies, so good that I kind of forgot.
That's weird that happened.
I know, but I also had a night, so...
What do we do? What us film addicts, when we've got a night off, we fucking go to town on ourselves with movies. That's what's up.
Yes. I also meant I had a night, as in I had a lot of shit happen in one night, so I kind of have a blur.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, so I watched Happiest Season again. Just good. Always good.
Yeah, nice.
It was actually after watching Happiest Season because Dan Levy is in it. So I was like, I'll fucking start watching Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, right. That's it always leads you back. I still haven't watched his movie yet. Good grief.
You gotta watch it, man. The only like gripe I have with Schitt's Creek is that they always put Dan Levy in like black and white, and I hate it.
Like as in his costumes?
Yes, like the clothes.
That's probably his aesthetic, I would say. That's probably more his choice than anybody else's. But probably,
like he's a creator of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, can we talk about how fucking hot Eugene Levy is? Like,
oh, he's a total babe. Total babe. Like, what a silver fox, my goodness. He's got a travel show on Apple TV called The Reluctant Traveller, and it's hysterical, but he looks like a drawing of a good-looking dude.
Right?
You know, that's weird, yeah. He's kind of a clown, but also you'd kind of fuck him.
Absolutely.
Shoulder shrug. You can't hear me shoulder shrug on a podcast, but that's what I do. I was like, you kind of fuck him. Everybody would.
It's, for me, as a person who doesn't like clowns or jokers, it's the only clown I'd fuck.
Exceptionally good comedian. Lovely human being.
He's also in the new season of Only Murders in the Building. And
oh, is he?
Yeah. He's there with Zach Galifianakis and like Eva Longoria, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotta go back then.
Yeah, and he's playing one of like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's in the trailer, but I'm not gonna spoil it fully. He's playing one of the characters in the show too, so it's a really meta thing. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, he's like he's shadowing Steve Martin, and it is one of the best like comedic chemistries ever.
Awesome! I can't wait. I'm gonna go back. I just started the second season of Shrinking, so I was like diving back into that.
Me too.
Yeah. I fucking love that show so much, man. When Harrison Ford said the girl was like looking up stuff on the internet about what people who eat, like who have Parkinson's should eat to be healthy, and she brings him carrot sticks instead of candy. She's like, "It's on the internet. You have to eat healthy." And he's like, "Stupid fucking internet!" Like it just, I've never knew that I wanted to hear Harrison Ford call the internet fucking stupid before, and now I've got it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Also, do you know the story why he has Parkinson's in the show? The guy who plays Roy Kent is like the head writer of the show.
Yeah, I can't remember the actor's name. Keep talking and I'll look it up.
And his dad has Parkinson's, and so that character is an ode to his dad.
Oh, that's cute.
And so when his dad watched the show, it meant a lot to him that, you know, somebody like Harrison Ford, or like a character that Harrison Ford was playing, has Parkinson's.
Yeah, he does it really well too, Harrison. He's quite subtle, but it's a great performance. Brett Goldstein, who is also the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Hercules, which we will never see happen again. You'll never see it. You'll never see them. You won't see any Eternals. They're fucking... the end.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. That's what's happening. Blade, you'll never see Blade. I've been talking about Blade for fucking months and months and years and weeks and months, and I keep saying no one is ever going to make it. And then what does it happen? Nerd News is what happens, and I'll tell you about it then. But fuck. Sorry, yeah, I'm totally distracted by my own nonsense. We're talking about the thing. It was Schitt's Creek. He watched some stuff. You did the shrinking as well. What are you talking about now? You watched a bunch of movies.
Yes. I also watched this 2022 movie called Bros. It's a really great, very well made gay rom-com. I fucking loved it.
I think I remember it. Who's the actor in it?
I'll look up.
It's the guy from he was in like the last season of Parks and Rec. I can't remember the name of the actor.
Billy Eichner?
I guess. Sure. Good old Bill.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, which is why I said Eichner, so I'm sorry.
I apologise if anyone can hear the fucking guy whippersnippering outside. It always happens. Nothing. Dead silence all morning. I sit down, hit record, and someone starts fucking whippersnippering. I live in the bush.
What the fuck is that?
Shouting "I live in the bush" is pretty hysterical, actually.
Yep.
Like that's the kind of thing that someone would say when they're coming out of a brothel. Oh fuck! I live in the bush. Ha ha!
I just want
King of the Punani. Punani's a word I haven't used in a long time. Fucking hell.
I just want
Sacha Baron Cohen.
I just want that soundbite in like season 3 of the House of Dragon.
So much shouting. I live in the bush. Woo! I've now caught the attention of my cats. My cats are at the door going, meow, what the fuck, meow, meow. Anyway, bush is a euphemism for vajan. I rewatched Babylon, and that's my favourite part of that movie when she calls that frat boy a 6-foot fucking vagina. That's great. Anyway, sorry, you rewatched?
I rewatched The Ritual, which is a 2017 film. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It is one of my favorite horror films.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like there is stuff in that I'm such a big fan of, but it's only there in the last 11 minutes.
Okay.
But
What's this movie about?
it's about this group of friends who are mourning the loss of their one friend, and in honor of him, they're like hiking in this trail.
Right.
That goes from northern Sweden to Norway, which is always like a really interesting part of the world because there is a lot of shit there.
Yeah. I know the film you're talking about now. I remember seeing it come out. I haven't watched it, but
Yeah, there is like the monster design in that is insane. It was one of the best.
There's monsters in it?
Oh, you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it.
Okay. Hang on, I'm going to look it up and see if it's on anything. Keep talking.
It's on Netflix.
It's on. Did you say that?
Yeah, because I believe it's a Netflix original.
Brave Spall's in it. Sold. I'll watch that. It's a horror-y kind of thing. It'd be good for the Halloween week. All right, done. Anything else? Do you want to give me one more thing you watched that was fucking awesome?
I have been watching The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yes. Where are we up to at the moment?
We are at episode. Well, at the moment, all of it is out, but it's not out for me yet.
Okay. What is it? What does that work?
Time zones.
Just different release schedules. Oh, okay. Oh, time zones. Okay, yeah, sure.
But yeah, they're like, this is the last arc episode. Like, they come out in arcs, so like 3 episodes is 12 episodes. So 3 episodes every week. That's what I meant. But yeah, we're up to the last arc, and it is scary because there are things that have happened in the campaign that were heartbreaking, and then there's things that have happened in the show that kind of adapting from different parts of the campaign. and making it work so well that I'm scared that we won't get more. But yeah, it's so good. Like, they stepped up the animation in such an amazing way. And like, you know, dragons are hard to animate. And like, this entire season is about...
I want that as a soundbite in House of the Dragon, actually. Just someone goes, fuck, dragons are hard to animate. And then a shot of dragons.
I think there's been like a dragon sighting every fucking episode this season. And it's awesome.
I will get to it. I'll probably watch it while I'm away, and then we can do an episode on it, because it'll take me a little while to get to. And then we can do an episode of it when I get back from the States. Excellent. Wonderful. Well, let's talk about Blade never coming out. It's not funny. I feel bad for Mahershala Ali. I watched The Curious Case of Benjamin Button last night, and Mahershala Ali's in the start of that. And I feel for the guy. It's, you know, must be really annoying, because I know that he wanted to do it. All right, here we go. Venom: The Last Dance is out.
Sure.
I can't believe they're movies. It's so weird to me. Anyway, never mind all that.
They're fucking... They're not movies, man.
They're not movies. They're movies. They're not films. They're movies.
Okay, Mr. Scorsese.
Yes, exactly. They're theme park rides. Here we go. A little bit of nerd. It's nerd news. Officially, Avengers Doomsday will begin filming in the spring of 2025 with a in-theaters release date of May 2026, Russo brothers returning. Doomsday and Secret Wars will not be filmed back-to-back like Infinity War and Endgame, and I think that's probably because they haven't fucking figured it all out yet.
Yeah, true. I also don't think it's going to come out in 2026.
You don't think? That's still almost 2 years away. Actually, yeah, you're right. That doesn't sound like enough time, does it?
Like, if they start in spring of 2025, the fuck are they shooting for, like 3 months?
And also, whoever's putting these news stories out, I won't call out the actual...
Please do it.
The actual, like, account that's posting these. I don't know if they make their own posts. Stop using AI. It looks fucking shit. Everybody looks like a fucking weird monster with no soul, and I fucking can't stand it. Yeah, but like, I think probably because you're probably right. That probably does seem like a really short timeline to get all that done. Like, if they haven't started shooting, like, they're probably doing visual effects stuff already. But also, there's a bunch of stuff that hasn't come out that needs to come out for it to get a reaction, like Fantastic Four and whatever. But you know, you got the third Spider-Man movie, or the fourth Spider-Man movie as well, and however that plays in. And yeah, I just don't think they figured out what the next one will be after Doomsday, whatever it is, Secret Wars. I don't think they know what they're doing with that yet. So I don't know.
I think they know more about what they want to do with Secret Wars than what the fuck they want to do with Doomsday.
Yeah, well, that's a huge like reset after losing Kang. I still don't know why they didn't just, like, no one would have cared. I think they could have reset that.
Not only would no one would have cared, it would also make the most sense that different variants of that one character look different in different universes. Yeah. It's the whole Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield sort of situation. Whereas, you know, for some reason Doctor Strange all look the same, and yeah, the overarching idea doesn't work for the multiverse, and I think that's probably the people have a problem like connecting with it. But in another multiverse where Spider-Man is not Spider-Man, he has been cast alongside Matt Damon in Christopher Nolan's next film, which is being sort of touted as being like an espionage thriller, which could be cool. It might be an espionage thing. It's not set in the present day. The script was written by Nolan himself and his wife and producing partner, Emma Thomas, and it's in theaters July 17th, 2026. So here's hoping for Marvel that Doomsday doesn't get pushed back, because if it gets pushed back to July, fucking Captain Box Office himself, Christopher Nolan's going to come in and fucking shit down their neck. But yeah, I really like Tom Holland. I think he's an excellent actor, and he needs more opportunity than Spider-Man to show it. I think he's great in Cherry. I know people don't like that movie, but I think he's awesome in it.
Devil All the Time was a really great performance. He's just sort of, had to do Spider-Man and fucking Uncharted and all that other stupid shit that young actors have to do. Like, they always have to have a franchise under their belt as opposed to just doing interesting work.
Honestly, I liked him in Uncharted. Like, he has a really good physical comedy thing going on.
Yeah.
And that always works. And like, it worked really well with Uncharted. I think the main problem with Uncharted was Mark Wahlberg, who can't act.
Mark Wahlberg is a shit heap. I'm sorry. I don't like, regardless of his personal politics and his, the religious stuff and whatever, and his history as a fucking someone who instigated a hate crime. He's just a fucking shit actor. He is shit. He cannot act. I would rather watch a head of cabbage do all of his fucking roles. Like, imagine The Happening with a head of cabbage. It would have been 10 times more interesting.
Or like fucking Transformers with a head of cabbage. That would be cool.
Yeah. It's a Transformer, bro. Fuck up. Blade is removed from the 2025 Marvel calendar. Mahershala Ali's movie will not be coming soon. Marvel has delayed the film indefinitely, taking it off the scheduled 2025 slot. I think they might be giving up, honestly. And for some reason, this person has tagged a bunch of stuff they didn't need to. It's not going to happen. It's like I said a couple of episodes ago, or maybe it was on the Tommy and DL show. It's not working. Like, you can feel it not working. The Blade movies are great. They get diminished returns, obviously, but just leave it as an artifact. You don't need to introduce that element into the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway. Just leave it be.
Yeah, I have a few things to say about that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
tell me.
Okay, I don't think they've totally given up, but also it has gone through like immense rewrites, and each person who's done the rewrite, that's $50,000 gone.
$50,000? You reckon they're paying someone $50,000 to do a rewrite? I fucking guarantee you it's $1 million or something. It's ridiculous. It's Marvel. They would have to pay people so much money to come in and do, like, even script doctoring. You'd get paid a fucking ludicrous amount.
Yeah, but that's like the standard in the US. You get $50,000 for like writing or proofreading a script.
Is that right?
So, like, just going by that standard, and if it's been done fucking 6 times, you see what the problem is? Because you've spent a lot of money on a film that still hasn't gotten anywhere yet. Plus, you give the lead actor a signing bonus because he was on top of his game when he signed on.
Yeah, he was fucking just won an Academy Award.
And you probably made...
For the second time.
And you probably made just one, but it was there. You made a fucking Kevin Feige cap that had Blade on it that he gave to Mahershala Ali on Comic-Con, which is like the biggest publicity stunt. So I don't think that they've totally given up on it. I think they're trying to... Well, there are two things. I think they're trying to kind of move forward with the MCU, trying to have different voices that also doesn't seem like the Eternals, because I know the Eternals aren't coming back. And if they have Blade as in something that's separate from the MCU but ties in some kind of history, I think that could also fall into the same category of Eternals, and they don't want that. And I also believe now, because the door is open, that they're waiting for Secret Wars to have Wesley Snipes back, and to have done that with almost every Marvel character to have ever existed on screen, and then kind of tread their way and figure out what they want to do with that. I also believe, because this is something that I forgot to mention, but I've been enjoying Agatha all along a lot, and it is one of my favorite corners of the MCU. And if we get a little bit of what's going on there into whatever we do with Blade, I think it's perfect. I think like that crossover would be amazing. Plus, if they do a fucking Midnight Suns movie, have Blade be the this is just me pitching at this point. That's
fine. Have at it.
Like, have fucking Blade be like the like our POV, because you don't need to know a lot of Blade, but like suddenly if Moon Knight shows up, you'll be like, I want to know what's going on with that person, because it seems like there are 3 people. And like have Ghost Rider show up and all that, and like Blade is cool. Just make it cool.
Yeah, I mean, Midnight Suns is probably a good way to introduce him and then give him his own solo after that. Like, do a reverse engineer it. Everybody knows Blade well enough, you know. It's. I don't think you need to introduce that. And he could do it, a quick sort of recap of his history in Midnight Suns. If you like Moon Knight, just go and fucking watch Moon Knight. It's really good. It's really good. I've rewatched it recently and it slams. Like, it's the second best show they've done. After Hawkeye. Anyway, speaking of Hawkeyes, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's a way to do it, and I just feel like announcing a movie because you have a star involved is a good way to build up, interest, but you also then hamstrung yourself to the fact that you need to do it, and you're pushing to get it right. And Mahershala is obviously going to be fairly discerning about what he's going to do, because he's going to spend his life, 10 years playing this character like RDJ did. He wants it to be right, and if you don't think you can execute, like if you don't have a script, I don't think you should announce something. You see what happened with the Green Lantern movie, the one that Ryan Reynolds was in. He was like, we had a poster and a release date before we had a script. Like, it's just not a way to do business. But actually, no, it's a way to do business. It's not a way to make art at all.
Agreed.
And isn't that what we're all supposed to be doing?
I also want to say that, like, I see a lot of people giving a lot of shit to MCU or Marvel in general because of this. They don't, like, those people don't realize this is the reality of almost every project in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, like, and this is the first time that we've seen this happen to the MCU because it was so public. Like, cut them some slack, because this is their business. Then, like, it's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's just that they've like, now they know that they need more time to come up with a good story.
In my head, they were, it was Kevin Feige or a Kevin Feige, doppelganger or something, as a cartoon, walking down the street, juggling all this money, and then they couldn't help but trip over and drop half of it. And that's, like, in my head, that's kind of what's happened. They were so busy being successful, they didn't see, the struggles that might come, or they didn't see the obstacles that might come of doing something like that. Like, we're so sure of ourselves. Yeah, fucking Blade's coming, mate. Yeah, don't worry about it. Fucking Blade. It'll be up your fucking ass in 2 years. And we've been waiting whatever how long. It's just, I feel like it's a little bit of they bought into their own legend, and stopped worrying about the work, stop worrying about the job. But then again, I'm not involved in it anyway. I have no insight whatsoever. I'm not on the ground, so what do I know?
I hope it goes mid, though. Yeah,
I mean, it would be cool, but I mean, I still feel like we've got a Blade movie and it's fucking perfect, so don't worry about it, As soon as the guy stopped doing whippersnipping outside, a fucking dog started barking. So why do I live here? Why don't I move to somewhere that's quiet? I need to go and live in a yurt or an igloo. Speaking of igloos, it's The Lord of the Rings.
What?
The Return of the King. I don't know. I love working in segues that don't work. It's amazing. It's The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. It's Part 3. It's epic. It's crazy. Before we get into the actual film of it, I just want to talk about a couple of things. One of which I kept thinking, how the fuck long is it from the start of Fellowship to the end of that final battle? And it turns out it's 13 months.
Yeah.
When they return to the show. That's interesting. Peter Jackson, as a director, won his Academy Award for this, for Best Director. It also won Best Picture that year. Wholeheartedly deserved. I think they held it back, actually. I think they didn't give it to him for Fellowship or Two Towers, knowing that this would be an epic finish. And he really does tie it up. And the guy is, one of the greatest directors of all time because of these movies.
Absolutely.
Like these are like incredible feats of cinematic construction, and he's gone on to make really interesting stuff. I think King Kong's great. I can't, and I like his earlier work as well. Frighteners, as we've talked about before. I love that movie. Just a singular talent as behind the lens, and him and his writing partners really did figure out how to make this work for modern audiences, which is really impressive. New Zealand was put on the map because of these movies. It deserved to be put on the map for what it is, which is a beautiful place that is just the majesty of it and the like far-reaching grandness. It almost looks supernatural already without them even trying. A friend of mine just went on holiday there, and he's gone to all the places and all that stuff. Like, it really did make... there's still a Nazgul on the top of the place where in wherever it is, Christchurch or whatever, where you get in there. It really did make people turn their heads in the way that when Australia had, the Crocodile Hunter or whatever. Now it's the Hemsworth or whatever, but that kind of thing. And it deserves the respect. And also they also have some of the greatest visual effects artists, some of the greatest prop masters and set builders and all that stuff. Like they're heads of the industry in that particular part of the world. And I think Tolkien would have fucking loved these movies.
You do?
I think he would have really dug them. Yeah, I think he would have dug them a lot because they're so... For whatever they are in terms of changing things or putting things here and mixing things around, adding stuff or whatever, they feel Lord of the Ringsy. I think when people read the book now, you can't help but conjure up these images anyway. But I think if you were to do a version that was more serious or less serious, it wouldn't work. Like they strike the balance really beautifully. And I think he would have dug them a lot. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree that, after these movies, it's hard to go back to the book and, read without comparing. Is kind of why I haven't read The Lord of the Rings at all. But
yeah, I did them in high school. I know The Hobbit in high school. But I mean, they're kind of beloved, and that's hard. It's hard to do that. I think remember how what's his name? Hugh Jackman said about playing Wolverine that playing someone who is famous and alive is really daunting. Playing somebody like Wolverine is even more daunting because the expectation is so high. And I think that's absolutely where it is making these movies. But they pulled it off. They absolutely pulled it off. We open with Gollum Begins, and it's really creepy and fucked up and measured performance. And you get to see just how good Andy Serkis actually is as an actor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Specifically a character actor, like remarkable. It's such a steely performance where he's like, give me that, it's my birthday. And then he's still smiling while he's trying to steal it. And then he chokes a motherfucker to death. And the movie's not even really begun. This is a prologue,
Yeah.
Wild.
I have to say, that prologue and his transformation into Gollum is something I'll never forget because it scared the shit out of me when I was a child. Like
the hollow, sunken eyes before they go big,
And like...
Amazing.
It's like his eyes are sunk into his skull and then like part of his skull is embiggened. It's horrible in the most amazing way because it was all practical. It wasn't all practical.
Well, you see the change from the sort of construction of the prosthetic, and then they add the bigger eyes. But at first, when it's just the sunken eyes and the sunken sort of eye sockets, and then his eyes, haunting, absolutely haunting.
Yeah, to think that they would remove a scene where Frodo would see himself as that is insane. But I think Frodo goes through a lot in this movie, and I'm glad they didn't do that to him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the movie's 11 years long, so they just got to cut something. And you know what's happened now? The dog stopped barking, and the fucking guy with the whippersnipper's begun again. Shit on me. Anyway, fucking loud up in this bitch. I think the part that got me like straight away, and it kind of bookends at this relationship. The whole thing is Sam talking about how much food they have left, and he's saying, well, we'll still have enough. There's enough for what? For the journey home. Like, he's so fucking optimistic, it's ridiculous.
And Frodo on the other side hasn't even given it a single thought because for him he's not making it back.
Yeah, and I don't think he ever thought that he would. Even when he was like, I'll take the ring. I think he's like, I'm going to have to pitch my own body into this fucking fiery thing. And look, jumping forward a little bit, the whole way, the only reason that the ring ends up in the fires of Mount Doom is because of Gollum.
Yeah.
Like he was ready, Frodo was ready to fucking take it and probably mow down Sam at the same time. And the only reason he didn't was because Gollum got a hold of it again. And I think at the end of it, he knows that, which is why he's so melancholy at the end, because he's like, we didn't win. Yeah, the ring got sacrificed and the kingdoms are now at peace and everything, but I lost this battle. I went all that way and still I was corrupted. I was lost to this, you know? Yeah,
there's a very personal part of me that I relate to here. Like, everybody is acquainted with failure. I think Return of the King is an epic that just talks about failure, and that no matter how far you go, like you know, Frodo goes 3 movies and then gets seduced by the ring at the end of it, and he's failed. And we'll get back to this because it's my favorite scene in all of fiction is Aragorn with teary-eyed looking back at the remaining fellowship and saying for Frodo and charging headfirst into the army.
It gave me goosebumps. It's such a powerful moment.
It's him accepting, because before that he's talked to the mouth of Sauron and he's shown them the mithril, and so for them Frodo is dead. And for Aragorn, that means that he's failed.
Yeah,
and it is coming to terms with failure. It's one of the best depictions of failure in that way.
That's a really beautiful insight. I didn't think of the whole thing like that, you know, because he gives up, but in giving up, he's like, when he turns and makes that charge towards the hordes of Mordor. It's the old adage of he'd rather die on his feet than live on his knees.
Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah, that's okay. We can jump around. It's fine. I do like in Isengard where Isengard's been sunk basically, and everybody turns up, and Gimli's really pissed off at the hobbits for smoking weed and eating salted pork, like just getting shitty about that. But my favorite part is like Saruman asking for peace and then telling them they're all going to fucking die. And then Gandalf blows up his dildo stick and Wormtongue fucking prison yard shanks the guy. And that's it. And then he ends up getting thrown onto his goddamn own water wheel. Brutal death. Holy shit.
Yeah, I read this somewhere that because it was Isengard that they had spikes on the water wheel. Like, normal water wheels don't have spikes on them.
Why would a water wheel? Nothing. No farming equipment has spikes on it that it doesn't need. because I almost said Christopher Reeve there. Because Christopher Lee, that's his name, right? The actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, because Christopher Lee was in a metal band, he had like spikes on the water wheel, which ended up being his own death. So that's what you get for being in a metal band.
That's what you get for being fucking metal. Yeah, the indignity of it, like, yeah, let's put fucking total gnarly spikes on the thing. It'll be a fucking metal man. Oh, I'm dead on them. Fuck. Like, yeah, it's just, what an indignity. The poor guy. It's such a great scene though, and it does sort of speak to the battle that is about to come and how difficult it's going to be. I think they balance the comedy well. The drinking game with between Gimli and Legolas is really good. Again, balancing that humor with just how serious things are. Like, there is need for celebration here because they've won the battles at Helm Deep. They've bested Saruman, but Sauron's armies are rising, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. I really love that. But the the bit that fucking killed me is in apropos of nothing, Gimli says, "Dwarves that go swimming with little hairy women." And I'm like, that's doing it for someone. That is doing it for somebody. Someone out there is whatever the word is for a hair fetishist, and they're fucking into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. But
little hairy women.
But famously, dwarvish women have facial hair, and that was a big thing. That was something. And a big wide 70s bush. Gimli would come out of it and say, "I'm living in a bush."
Exactly. I live in the bush. With my axe. Heavens.
Also, for anyone who's confused, these are the extended editions we're talking about. So if there are scenes that you don't remember watching, is probably because you watched the theatrical one instead of the extended one.
I think people kind of will get that. What's that, sorry?
This is a 5-hour long movie.
Yeah, it's a big one. But that's okay, you know. Also in that scene where they're having all the drinks and stuff, you see Eowyn give Aragorn a drink, and she's just like looking at him like, "Hey, would you like this drink and all of my vagina?" She is, talk about living in bush, my goodness gracious, he is a ranger and she would take it. Yeah, that balance of the comedy there is really nice in that particular scene. When Gollum is talking to himself and he's talking to himself again after convincing himself that he's going to take the hobbits to Shelob. And he said, you know, "She hungers for sweeter meats, my love." And when he's talking to himself, he goes, "She only has like horrible hawkses and they don't taste very good, do they? Not very good at all." Like that thing, his pupils change when the character changes. Fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like such an interesting, subtle animated choice to make that happen. Like pupils dilate depending on what the light's doing as well, but it's specific to when he's switching between characters. Yeah,
definitely. Also, something really interesting about that scene is by the end of it, you feel as if Gollum has convinced Smeagol to steal the ring. And Smeagol says, "I'll steal the ring for me." And Gollum says, "For us." And in that, like, after the film was ended, you kind of realized that, like, from all the way through, Smeagol had planned to even deceive his own, like, personality into not giving Gollum the ring. And that's how big of a fucking love-hate relationship he has with this drug for him.
With his shadow self, absolutely. It's interesting because it's kind of, this is his evolution into a proper villain over time, which is really cool. Merry and Pippin break up.
It is the gayest breakup ever, and you cannot say that I'm wrong.
It's so true. It's so true.
Because Merry is mad because Pippin smokes too much.
Yeah, that's you know, sometimes that's what happens. Like I don't feel like you know, we're together on this. I've got to go and straighten up. And the same thing happens in Requiem for a Dream. That's an extreme example. But,
I haven't seen that. Now I have to.
The City of Kings. What's it called? Mitochondrial? No.
Gondor?
No.
Minas Tirith?
Minas Tirith.
Jesus, did you say mitochondria?
Mitochondrial, yeah, that's I don't know what that is. I think it's something to do with your blood. I can't remember, like a mitochondrial count, or maybe that's the thing from Star Wars that everybody doesn't like talking about. Midichlorians, over 5,000.
Okay, yeah, we're talking.
What are you talking about? Yeah. Fucking Obi-Wan midichlorians. Nobody cares. The design of Mephistopheles is, what the fuck is it?
Minas Tirith.
Minas Tirith. The design is outstanding. I love that it's sort of set in a mountain, and shit kicks off here like so quickly. And you know, as soon as they're like the fight starts, it starts getting the shit just destroyed. But I just love the shape of it, how it's sort of built up and around, and then the big part at the top that kind of comes out to that flat bit. And you've got that weird guy, fucking is it the guy who plays the current King of Gondor?
Oh, there is no King of Gondor. It's the steward.
He's like
he's the steward, right?
Yeah. What's his name?
Fuck.
D something.
Denethor.
Yeah. He's gross.
Yes, very much.
And yeah, I like it also that Arwen sees her future. Arwen sees her future of Aragorn with a child, and it plays so well, and she chooses to be with a mortal, and convinces her dad to reforge the sword that sounds like the euphemism for a penis. What's it called?
Narsil.
Yeah, that sounds like someone's dick. Like, that's what someone would call their dick.
Don't respect that. Don't disrespect that, sorry.
Sorry. It sounds like it. Someone's like, yeah, you want a piece of this? What is it?
Narsil.
What's the name? You want some of this narsil and balls, baby? And they're like, no, I do not. We're not at a Hobbit convention, you weirdo. It's... Gandalf needs to quit smoking.
Oh, my lord, he does.
He's not his younger self anymore. He's not his old self, rather. He's changed. It'd be like me drinking a beer right now. My fucking chest would explode. My stomach would fall apart. Like, it wouldn't happen. It's just ridiculous. There's a particularly good scene there where he said, there really was no hope for Frodo, only a fool's hope. And really, that's all we ever have. You hope for the best, and you hope for the outcome that you want in whatever the circumstances is, but no one can tell the future. So you just kind of have to deal with whatever the consequences are. I love that. I really love that.
Yeah. I fucking love that Gandalf takes a smoke and his body immediately rejects it because he's not contaminated.
Yeah. He's like, fuck, God, I can't hit this anymore.
He's like, well, here goes the white bearded wizard again.
It's sometimes you change and you can't go back.
Maybe for the best. Sometimes.
The arrival of the Witch King is such a great character. Because we now know how long we have Saruman, and Sauron still needs a second. He still needs, someone to be his elite. Having the Witch King's great because it's a real physical threat, and especially when he's so formidable. We hadn't seen that yet in terms of having a big proper villain. I
commend Peter Jackson for not actually having Sauron in any of these films be a physical presence. I love the creation of the eye as well. The eye isn't something in the books. In the books, it's just Frodo feeling that. It's very internalized. It's here they make it more of an actual thing. And it feels fucking terrifying, man. Yeah. And I love that we don't get to see Sauron, because that's the most scary part, is that we've seen these horrible things and we still haven't seen the guy. Yeah. And it's usually how we perceive evil, is that we don't see it, we feel it mostly.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's always the most evil is the one that you don't see. Yeah, absolutely. Lighting the beacons, they did that in Justice League, didn't they?
Can we not? This is so much better.
All right. I'm just saying.
What the fuck did they do in Justice League about the beacons?
Didn't they light the beacons in Justice League? And they're like, oh, fucking Wonder Woman's up to some shit. Yeah. She's going to go and fucking slay some dudes. And
she goes into the fucking Apocalypse Temple shit in heels. Come the fuck on.
Love it. Oh, that's the best. Anyway, I just remembered that, and then people start to turn up and Gandalf scares away the dragons with a torch. Boromir standing up to Denethor, the dinosaur, his dad, discovering that it's less important to show your quality than it is to be faithful to who you are as a person is I love that too, because Boromir, he's a B or C character in this picture, but he, apart from the fact that his dad nearly burns him alive, but I just love that moment is so specific. So I'm just thinking about as they're sort of coming in and the facial animation gets so much more subtle on Gollum, and he starts to become so much more ingrained and in the scenes. You forget that the dude is ones and zeros.
Yes. It's
really quickly.
Yeah, it looks much better in Return of the King is because they had more time to work on this than they had for Two Towers.
Yeah. But even so, like, it's still really amazing to see the not just the graduation from film to film to film, but also that they were able to get it to a point where I completely forget. Because it's hard to do that. Like, every movie you watch, like, if I watch, and again, I'm not throwing shade at Marvel at all, but if I'm watching Age of Ultron, I know that Hulk is not real. Like, as much as they make him emote, it doesn't work. Or the Thor one where he talks. Like, I'm not sitting there and just in the story. Like, I'm very aware that I'm watching something that's computer generated. But Gollum, it goes away really quick. It's performance as well, obviously.
Oh, obviously, yes, but also it is the fact that they pioneered this technology, and not only did they perfect it in its first outing, they also made it the way that the only thing that can ever be. Who the fuck is running?
You having weird noises in your background too?
Yeah. I'm home alone, motherfucker.
It is nearly Halloween. If someone comes in and fucking cuts your head off, I'll call the police. I'll call police here. It was one of my favourite jokes of all time. Love it. Are you all right? Do you need to go and check stuff?
No, I kind of don't want. It's fun to know in light things.
You don't go towards the fucking creepy noise in the horror movie. That's when you get fucking barbarianed, which we'll talk about next week.
Fuck. I have a really, really weird thing that happened to me last year. But we'll save it for next.
Save it for the Halloween episode?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. What were you saying, sorry?
Yeah, the only comparison to Gollum is fucking Caesar. And even comparing Caesar to Gollum, there are parts of Gollum that are that are still on point, where the technology with Caesar had more time to grow and more time to adapt, and this fire and interaction with light and water, but somehow it's the biggest achievement of these films is that they still hold up to this day.
Yeah, I mean, there's some clunky stuff there, but it's still
what?
It still works. Just watching a slow motion shot of all the horses charging towards camera, and Legolas grabs onto the harness and flips himself up and around onto the horse. You can see, that it's a bit clunky.
Yeah, but it's like a 1 second scene, and the next scene you forget it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying sometimes I just notice a little bit more than other times.
Whereas when you see fucking Korg in the MCU, you cannot unsee it because it's just so there. Yeah,
it's really it makes a big sort of show of itself. Whereas everything, again, watching Curious Case of Benjamin Button last night, and the first half of that is he's in, or the first hour of that, it's Brad Pitt as an old man mocapped onto someone's face, and it works. It totally works. It's still, I mean, you can tell it's not real, but the way that, again, it interacts with light and shade and color and texture and all that stuff. It's totally believable. It's about finding a way to marry the practical and what's caught in camera with what you need to add. It should always be an addition to CG. It should never be, unless you're making a CG film, it should always be something that gives it, another level or another spice or another flavor, but it doesn't take away from the overall storytelling. Otherwise, you're just holding a flag and waving it. That's not how you eat a tomato.
That is not. And I feel violated every time I watch that scene.
It's gross. And he's got the red, wine coming down his cheek. The decadence of and the hubris of wealthy men who send poor to their deaths. Sing for me, you little fucking hairy, weird creature. You hairy, smelly creature. Sing for me while I eat this chicken weird. And everybody outside is about to fucking, get murked.
Yeah.
It's, Tolkien had a real problem with authority, I think.
Absolutely. I think everybody should have a problem with authority.
Yeah.
You should at least question it. I want to point this out because I caught this now, like when I watched it this time. When you're introduced to Minas Tirith, when you're introduced to Gondor, you're introduced to a city that is celebrated and created to celebrate its past. Even the tree is a copy of the tree in Numenor, which was a gift from the elves to the humans, and that tree is that tree before Numenor was drowned. It was a reminder of the two trees in the Second Age that gave us light and hope. Because in the Second Age, the Earth was flat. I'm not kidding.
I know you're talking about the lore of these shows, yeah.
Like the Steward, Denethor, is one man representing this idea that most wars are fought by old people trying to stay in their comfort zone and resist change and resist any sort of new age ideas. And it's a reality that we still live in, that the youngest go to war where the oldest are left in their palaces. And you see the city that celebrates its past break down in this film. Yeah. And then they use the broken parts of the city to fight back, which is like one of the best metaphors ever.
Yeah. The catapult fight is particularly awesome, and loaded with idea and theme, and there's nothing is done without meaning. It's like we said last week. None of the fights are fights for fight's sake. There's something specific going on in each one. I also want to say one more thing. Oh, sorry, no, go ahead. Sorry. No, don't be sorry. It's fine.
So the scene with Denethor eating and Pippin singing is a scene that Philippa Boyens came up with, or no, Fran Walsh came up with, I think, while shooting. They went to a karaoke night and she heard Billy Boyd sing and realized how beautiful his voice was, and so they added that scene for his for him to sing. And because in the books, Denethor always asks him to sing and Pippin is uncomfortable and he doesn't force him to. And
so he just takes his pants down and beats off in front of him instead. It's like, is this all right, master? Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Instead of a song, look at my weird little hobbit junk while I beat it off.
The Film Addicts podcast has been ended after 51 episodes.
That's it, he's bouncing. He is out.
What the fuck was that, man?
You put the headphones really close to the mic and I heard my own laugh. It was funny. I don't know. I agree with you. That song, when he sings that song, it's so fucking earnest. It's not silly or slight. It's really, and it's over the footage of Faramir nearly being killed. It's you're right. It's beautiful. I made fun of it, but I do agree that it's pretty wonderful.
I also love that Billy Boyd also gets the last song in the Hobbit trilogy. For whatever the flaws of those films are, that last song is one of the most emotional songs that have ever come out from Middle Earth, and these movies is fucking great.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing that struck me a little bit as we're sort of getting in towards what is this massive third act, I understand how humans can all get together and plan and figure stuff out, but who's coordinating orcs and shit and trolls and telling them where to go, I mean, do they?
Well, that's
do they
the
understand
Witch.
anything about?
It's the Witch King now. It was Saruman before, but now it's the Witch King.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's not like, I don't mean who is the person asking them to do these things or whatever. It's like, what is the protocol about? Do they all have a meeting first? Do they have like department heads? You know, do they understand anything about directions or geography or math or anything like that? Like, we're going to go to war. Does everybody just follow one dude? Or do they have like, okay, catapult crew, you're going this way, and Oliphants, you're going this way, and troll people, you're going this way, and all that shit? It's interesting to me. That's all I'm saying. And it's like the trolls come in and they're playing drums. Like, that means they would have to practice. I learned the drums for years to hold a basic beat. These guys are trolls. Like, someone's gonna have to go a troll and 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, do they have metronome on in their ears? Do they have a click track going? It's just a question. I'm not insinuating they don't know what they're doing, but answer me.
How am I supposed to answer a fucking goblins learn how to play drums, man?
Sorry, it's true though.
They just sit in the fucking. They sit in the mines of Moria and they practice making the Balrog dance.
That's fantastic. And where's that fucking deleted scene? Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a deleted scene from La La Land. Trust me.
Yeah, I get it. Where the Balrog dances. Yeah. Fucking hell, the old Balrog dance, my fave.
Where the Balrog dance is like one of a good. I'm not saying fuck. You go ahead.
You lost your words for a second. What happened?
I don't know.
You see here Aragorn, you know, struggling with his destiny. He's not in this movie a lot. Like, the first half of it, he's not in it really. Like, he back and forth a little bit. It becomes his movie as we get closer, and he goes into the mountain. You know, put the arranger aside and become who you were born to be. You know, as he turns up, he's like, "I fixed your sword, bitch." Just take it. Some whining. Just go out and get these fucking mountain people and go and fight some pirates, will you? And shut the fuck up. And fuck my sister. Oh, well, no. What is she? Fuck my daughter, will you? Come on.
Fuck my sister.
And my sister too. Fuck her as well. Have all the elf pussy that you would like. Enjoy it.
Sweet home Rivendell.
I live in the bush. Oh, silly. It's spectacular, and he gets the sword, and it is a very good moment. And they go in and they get the ghosts from under the mountain. The avalanche of skulls is fantastic. I love that. I would love to have one of those little skulls because they're obviously just little miniatures. I'm sure you can get one on eBay. The second disc of this DVD is all the third act battle, and it starts with Gandalf goes completely ninja, whips everybody's asses and shouts "prepare for battle" and goes full John Wick and starts taking out homies left and right. It's fucking amazing.
Like the battle, especially when they start to come in and you see the panic and you see like just how unprepared the city really is. It's like, fuck, man. Are they actually gonna fucking kill Gandalf and Pippin in this one? I
mean, most of us, like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't read the books. And people die left and right in these shows. Who the fucking... It's ridiculous. Outrageous. And also, I'm sorry, throwing the severed heads of your enemies at your enemies is one of the most gangster shits I've ever seen. That is amazing. It's almost as gangster as the Wonder Woman comic I'm reading at the moment, which is
Absolute Wonder Woman?
Oh, is it? What, sorry?
Is it Absolute Wonder Woman?
No, I'm not reading the Absolute stuff. I've checked out a little bit. I'm not collecting single issues. I've got so many like trades that I haven't read that are sort of sitting, like literally hundreds of them that are just sort of sitting here not being read. I can't engage with new stuff. It's all really expensive too. Like it's $12 an issue. I know the Batman one's done really well. Like it's sold out everywhere, and it's great for not only the industry and DC Comics itself and Scott Snyder, and also just retailers like, you know, making money and having people come through the door. And my friend Mitch, who runs All Star Comics in Melbourne, like it's excellent, but it's just not. Nightwing's finished. Tom Taylor's run off to do Batman. I'm out for a little while from single issue, month stuff. No, I'm reading a back issue from like 2004, written by Greg Rucka. It's Night of the Gorgon, and the Gorgon are the sort of the group of creatures from myth, and one of them is Medusa, and she, you look at Medusa and you turn to stone, and Wonder Woman has to fight her with her back to her so that she doesn't look her in the eye and gets turned to stone. But Medusa can influence you if you're weak, and Wonder Woman gets beaten down in the battle and is weak, and Medusa says, look at me, and she starts to do it, and knowing that she can't control herself any longer, she takes a couple of the snakes out of Medusa's hair, squirts the venom from those snakes in her eyes, and blinds herself so that she can do the fight without getting turned to stone. That is one of the most fucking gangster moves I've ever seen in a comic book. It was awesome.
Damn.
Anyway, it's a good book. Yeah, Greg Rucka had a great run on Wonder Woman, and again, it's one of these random trades that I have, from these sets that I got a couple of years ago that I normally wouldn't have read. So I'm very pleased. Fuck spiders.
Oh, you know what makes it most interesting?
Yeah.
Peter Jackson is an arachnophobe. So Weta,
you can tell.
So Weta made it so much more realistic just to torture him.
Yeah, but that's great because it's really like when you think in your head, you think Shelob. It's a character that's got a name. It's like has a sexual designation, like it's she. It's gonna have a face that laughs and smiles, like it's one of the like in Beetlejuice when he becomes the Snake Bannister thing, But no, it's just a giant fucking spider, and fuck them all, giant or otherwise. I can't even trust them. I can't do it.
I hate spiders with like every fiber of my living, and I like it's a reveal as well. Like it's not very sinister. It's just. You look up and she's just right there with Frodo. And it's like, I don't want that. Why the fuck would you ever want to see that?
No. It's the way it moves. Like spiders move so specifically. They did a good one in the Denis Villeneuve film Enemy as well. Like it's just that kind of crouchedness and then the spreading out of all the legs. It's like, get fucked. You can get fucked. It's not for me. I won't have it. Snakes can also get fucked.
Sure, but like, oh man, spiders are like the thing is, I'm okay with like tiny spiders because I can squish them. Any insect that does not fit under my slipper, I am fucking running away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't agree with killing them. I'm sorry. I avoid them and I remove them from my home. I don't kill them because they have a part to play in there. I mean, if one's on me and it's a redback spider, which those of you who live in Australia, look, we've got all the most deadliest things here. We've got funnel web spiders, redback spiders, taipans, king brown snakes, the deadliest land snake of all time. This thing bites you. You don't even make it to the phone. Like, we've got it all here. Jellyfish, swimming knives. They're all here. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You don't want to come to Australia?
Yeah. Now I'm having second thoughts.
The redback spider traditionally lived in outhouses. So toilets.
Fuck off, man.
Yeah,
my toilet is outside my room.
Is it so many scrotums? So many scrotums have been destroyed from redbacks, I reckon. Anyway, we're getting fucking detracted. Australian scrotum, which is actually a really good name for a band, I think. Night falls on Minas Tirith, and the wolf is literally at the door. It's Gandalf v Troll, which is pretty fantastic. And all the while, Shelob has attacked Frodo and is about to wrap him up for dinner. And Sam comes in, get away from him, you filth. Oh man, this little guy has got some fucking stones to go up against the goddamn. Thinking he's dead as well, and then Frodo gets taken by the orcs. But just going up against Shelob, like, incredible.
Yep. That is the Oscar submission scene for the entire world. That Sam is the best character. He's
kind of my fave, honestly. Apart from Gandalf, he's such a dude. He's just a normal dude, and he's got to go on this thing because he cares about his friend. Rohan arrives.
Yes.
Courage for our friends. And, you fight monsters, actual monsters at every turn. The odds are never in your favor unless you're righteous, and you can be righteous and fight for good things and the right ways and the truth and love and beauty and peace and all of that shit. But above all, like, you fight for each other, right? It's such a fervent metaphor for coming together, like, and the fact that we all kind of have to, because you do. It's the same as, facing evil. You face monsters. You face actual embodiments of evil all the time. And we can only do it for those reasons. You can't do it for money or fame or prestige or land or anything that's about acquisitiveness or what you can gain from a situation. Like, it always has to be about, peace and us as a group, You want just us? Well, there's just us. So that's what it's about. That's a Richard Pryor line, but still. Denethor is a melodramatic little bitch, and he tries to burn his son alive, and Gandalf's horse kicks him into a fire. Come on, yeah, man, that's some of those fucking ballest shits ever.
Yeah, it's I like, that's the reason why I hate Denethor so much. Is not because he let his son go to a battle, knowing that he was unarmed and outnumbered. But the fact that when Faramir's moving and almost semi-conscious while Denethor is bathed in fucking oil, he chalks that up to his fucking delusion. What on fucking earth do you have to smoke to get that fucking delusional?
It's the madness of kings,
True.
Like, he's obsessed with power. Like, he's made all this up because then it makes it feel like, well, they're going to follow me if I've lost everything, because I'll be the one who sacrificed the most. And it's just the folly of kings. It just does it really melodramatically. Merry is a total badass during the fight, but I'll tell you who is more than a badass is Eowyn, fucking taking on that orc and cutting off the head of a motherfucking dragon. Like, there's no woman has ever, no man could kill me or whatever, or, no man. And she's takes her helmet off and fucking stabs the fucking Witch King in the face, and he turns into a ball or something. Just awesome. That sort of scene, it comes towards the end of the big fight thing. But my favorite sort of set piece is the horse riders taking on the elephants or the Oliphants. Is just so cool. There's all these little pockets of I am no man is the line, by the way. I am no man, and then it's absolutely all these little pockets of activity going on, during this huge battle, and you never lose track of where you are. The geography of it's really well set up, and you start to see the loss on both sides, and the numbers dwindle, and then the ships turn up, and the fucking ghosts come out and take him, and it's just you feel the progression of it, even though you're not seeing it from the whole thing from afar.
Yeah, I want to go back to that sequence there. That ghost sequence in the cave is one of my favorite. And I hate that because it's only in the extended edition. But yeah, it's long, and you know what? That whole sequence, they shot that sequence after the Return of the King won Best Picture.
What? Oh yeah, I guess they would have. Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's a testament to the dedication of the people that were behind this film, just wanting it to make it the best that it could. And you can see that the actors fucking love to come. There is no way an actor would come back for an extended edition now for any film.
No, absolutely not.
And
they did it for Zack. They did it for Zack Snyder's Justice League. True,
but that's not an extended edition. It's the edition that was supposed to be, and some of them did.
And also the other one didn't win Best Picture.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. Sorry, just to go back to the elephant fight again, where the fantastic takedown by Legolas of one of them. He slides down the trunk and lands on the ground, and Gimli shouts, "That still only counts as one." Like, I get a laugh out of it every time. Like, I just, it's very pleasant to me. Yeah, Merry and Pippin find each other in the sort of the post-battle thing. Jokes about Frodo and Sam aside, these guys are gay, right? They're gay together.
Sam is definitely, if nothing else, pansexual for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that. That's fine. We made it to Mordor. Sam and Frodo are there, and they both kind of understand that they're not probably going to get back. The drawing out of the rest of Sauron's army with the crystal ball of like him saying, "I got your pig sticker, bitch. Like, come and get it," is awesome. And that's the king returns, you know. And it is a fantastic thing. He's like, you know, I heard you were talking shit. Do you want to fight? Because I've got a mad sword. Like, it's a real, like, that's where he becomes the king again. What is life like for an orc? You know what I mean? If I'm going to hear Paul meowing, I'll go and check on him in a second. He's meow. I know what's up. What is the life of an orc like? What time do they get up? Is it 10, half 10? They're not showering ever, so you can afford to sleep in.
They don't need to.
No. Do they clock in at work? If you're late, does somebody get mad? You know, do you have an orc wife and some orc kids? Is there an orc supermarket and orc schools? Do you have orc superannuation is my real question. Do these guys have some sort of retirement scheme?
If you watch The Rings of Power, there are orc children and orc families. And they speak and they talk, which is the same thing that I said twice.
That's all right. I'm following you.
But yeah, I love that we have these questions, because it's a testament to like how great this world is. That not only do you want to believe that these things are real, but you want to know what they do. Yeah,
I just feel like that there must be some sort of protocol for it. Like, you're an orc and you raised an orc, you're an orc baby, you grow up, you get some sort of orc-cation.
I'm an orc baby.
Yeah. That sounds like a sexual threat. I'm an orc baby, and then you run at someone. You do that, you grow up, and they're like, okay, well, you're an orc, so we go into battle a lot. So here's an axe, and here's some whatever, and blah, blah, blah. But what if you want to be an artist? What if you're an orc baker at heart? So we're at the Battle of the Gates of Mordor. Like you said before, man, that guy's got some serious teeth. That's some hectic teeth. Like you said before, that they feel like they've lost. Like, well, Frodo's gone. What are we to do? You know, and that's the turnaround for Frodo. It's a perfect shot. It says so much about Aragorn as a character and about the why we fight, and it's beautifully married with the. Do you remember the taste of strawberries? Like, it's home. That's why we fight, and the I can carry you. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. Like, it is a beautiful surrender to the futility of what they're doing, that they probably aren't going to, it's not going to work and they're not going to survive. But you keep fighting because what else are you going to do, you know? It's a really positive message. It's like, as difficult as things get, as hard as it is, you've got to keep fighting. That's all this movie is really about, and I love it. Aragorn, the dude's talking shit, and Aragorn just fucking cuts his head off. Yeah. I love it. Fuck yourself. Yeah, it's beautiful, and you know, as I said before, they're at the fires of Mount Doom, and he could just chuck it in, and they're about to do it, and no, it corrupts him completely, and Sam feels that happen. And Frodo returns, and they have the fight. He gets his fucking finger bitten off. I don't know if that's in the book, but Christ. And when you see Gollum, the surrender and the finality of him on his face when he has the ring finally back in his possession, and he falls towards the lava and he hits it and realizes that he's about to lose it again. It's just such a beautiful, bittersweet ending to the whole thing.
I feel that's like, just people make fun of The Return of the King for having too many endings. I think it just ends certain beats very well.
Yeah, I think that's a joke that people have kind of just grabbed onto. Oh yeah, it's so many endings or whatever. That's because one person said it.
Yeah.
If you actually watch it, that's how it should be, because you're finalizing everybody's stories.
Yeah, and it wasn't just one story. There were stories that combined to give you this story that you could follow.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's a real sense of achievement when the ring goes in, as well, like, because you've been on this journey for so long. Even though Frodo, the greatest tragedy for him is that it wasn't his doing. And in the end, he failed, and that's probably why he leaves as well at the end of the picture. But when the eagles come and snatch them up, and you see the ring destroyed, and you see with it Sauron is destroyed, I don't think anyone told Sam and Frodo that when they throw the ring in there, by the way, that mountain's going to blow up.
Yeah, the mountain's going to blow up.
It's like, hang on a minute. We didn't have any of that information. Fuck. But yeah, it's gone. It's done. This is the cost of war. The loss of innocence, of time, and of who we once were. Even in victory, there is loss.
Yeah.
And there is reconciling, and there is adjustment. And I think it's, the more you watch them, the more you see that they are war pictures. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Especially the hobbits going back. I want to point out...
Back home. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to point out that when the eagles come, they look like angels, which is what they kind of are. And secondly, they're three, which means that Gandalf
had sex with one of them. Sorry. No, I got distracted for a second.
That's bestiality. Let's not ever do that.
Whatever. You were talking about ants violating just normal trees.
Ants are trees, man.
Yeah. That doesn't mean anything.
If trees fuck trees, it's still trees fucking. What a sentence.
I know. That's what got me immediately. No one said that before, ever. Like, think about the entire history of the world. That is infinite monkeys at infinite typewriters will eventually build the works of Shakespeare. None of them have ever written trees fucking trees is still trees fucking. I get me that on a t-shirt. I want that on a t-shirt, and it's like one tree is bent over and the other one's doing it doggy style. Yow! That was the tree going yow, because it is enjoying penetration. Can we keep going? Trees fucking trees are still trees fucking. It's true. It's absolutely.
It's better than Gandalf fucking an eagle.
It is. It's way better. When the first episode came out, or maybe it was the last one, I can't remember. Juan got in touch with me. He was like, "You laughing at your own jokes is fucking hysterical." He was talking about the one. I can't remember. Was it last episode, or I can't remember. There was something that I lost my fucking mind at. Like, it was the Polizia thing. Yeah, so it was the last episode, and he was like, "You laughing made me laugh." Like, the joke's probably not that funny to anybody else, but fuck, it killed me. Ooh, okay. My stomach. Okay. Anyway, this is kind of the wrap up.
Yes, I want to complete my point though.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Fucking distracted. They look like angels. Keep going.
Yes, they look like angels, which they kind of are. There are also three of them, which means that Gandalf in his
had sex with one of them. I know. I'm sorry. There were three of them, which means Gandalf.
Which means Gandalf, in his delusion of hope, thought that this journey would have also redeemed Gollum.
Oh, fuck off.
Which is why there were three eagles. The third one was for him.
Oh, man. That's gonna make me fucking cry.
Yeah, and to think you intercut that point with fucking trees.
I know. I feel bad now. Oh, whatever. That's what people expect of me, to be the annoying, loud one. You're the quiet, thoughtful, intelligent one, and I'm the fucking obnoxious Australian. Yeah, that's beautiful. What a beautiful idea. Everyone's together again. We get the fellowship theme. Aragorn is crowned king, and it's like fucking Coachella.
Everybody's fucking there.
Everybody's there, and he sings. Like, what the fuck? Arwen turns up and returns to be the queen, even though she didn't partake in the fight, but whatever. The bit that really gets me is when he goes up to the hobbits and they all kneel, and he says, "You bow to no one," and they play the Shire theme. I'm crying, man. I'm crying. It's so beautiful. Back home at the Shire, you know, it could never feel the way that it was. Like you were saying, you know, home doesn't have the taste of safety when you've endured so much. It's that line, you know, some hurts that go too deep. And yet you also get people adjusting. Frodo writes the book. You know, he continues the story. The first thing Sam does when he gets home is go like, "I'm going to fuck that barmaid." Like, that's what's up. And you said, yeah, people make jokes about the film having so many endings, but it's more opportunities for endings, and there are a bunch of them. But it ends just the way it should have on the closing of the Hobbit door. It's Sam's family and it's after the farewell to Frodo. And I think I'm quite ready for another adventure from Bilbo, which is beautiful. But you see Sam's family, and that's what it is. That's what they were fighting for the whole time, was this the smallest of small unspoken societies that just want to live in peace. And the closing on the Hobbit door, we end how we begin. Just a stunning achievement in terms of story and technically as well. But yeah, a real stitch in time. They just don't make movies like this anymore. They don't make big Hollywood movies like this anymore. And we'll talk about it more next week when we discuss our, the Halloween episode, when we talk about the difference between a huge, big budget action horror blockbuster and a small indie like Barbarian, and just how those two types of films are made and why they get made. I don't think anybody really thought these movies would be as successful as they are. I don't think that they thought they would make the money they would. I think that they're stories that desperately were wanted and needed to be told, and that's the juice. Now I think because of the success of this, because of the success of Harry Potter or Twilight or Marvel, you know, franchises what people want, because they know that there's an audience there, and they know that there's a huge market there. But I think as soon as these films were done, as soon as The Return of the King came out and that door shut on that Hobbit hole, a lot of things shut in terms of the way that they make movies.
It's weird to say that it feels like these films are from an era that's long gone, even though these films are like 20 years old now only. And you're right, like there is no studio ever in the history of film studios that will ever give any director a green light for 3 films and to shoot them side by side, and to have this big of a production, and to give the creators fucking 2 years of pre-production, and to give every single person working the right amount of money and the freedom and the just like appreciation and passion all through and through. I don't think that will ever happen again, and it makes this trilogy even more special. It's
beautiful to revisit it. I go back every couple of years. You go back every 6 months or so, which is impressive. They're just wonderful films, and you know, you should introduce them to your children, and if you have any, and keep the way that this stuff is done alive, because then the young filmmakers come up and they realize that there is another way to do things, that they can do it this way, and it can be practical, and it can be. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff, honestly. Like, I live in a practical world, and I like things to do things in camera. And, you know, I've just recently finished a project that had some visual effects, but it's really minuscule. And I like all that stuff. I even think that there's a certain amount of like color grading and color timing and color correction that goes on that is so extreme it completely changes the nature of what you shot. you know, the amount of adjustment that you can make. You're repainting the entire scene, which is sort of what the cinematographer should do. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal aesthetic. If people realize you can do things in that old way, that's great. But for me, it's like story. Like critically always is story. How do we tell stories? How do they talk about us as people and how we relate to each other, and to our family and our peers and people we don't know as well, strangers. Like, how do we feel about strangers? How do we feel about people who are our enemies, who are against us, or who just people we don't like or don't understand or whatever? Like, stories help us figure that out. And it's also how we communicate with each other. It was how we communicate with each other pictorially before we had language. And I think that's a really important thing to not forget, that this is not about money. I know that there's a lot of money here and people need to work, and there's a lot of people working on these shoots and on these jobs that deserve to be reimbursed well for their work, because it is critical and it is important, from catering all the way up to the executive producers or whatever. But we need to not forget why we're here, which is to talk to each other and to understand each other and to show love and kindness and peace. That's what these movies feel like to me. It's a flag in the sand that says this is who we are, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
I couldn't have put it more perfectly than you did.
That's the third time. Like, I've wrapped up the episode like 3 times, and you're just like, yeah, you said it all, son. So maybe not just a complete Australian dimwit. Thank you so much for joining us for these 3 episodes. It really has been wonderful. Sorry this one was late. That's 100% my fault. It just was got a little bit busy. But we will get 2 episodes this week, like I said. There'll be a Halloween episode coming out, in which we're going to be talking about Barbarian and World War Z. 2 very, very different films in the same genre, the horror genre. And just, how particular they can be in the way that they're executed. But before that, we've run a little bit long here. What's your favorite moment? Like, one moment that was just stood out to you is that, like, this is the one that I always remember, the shot that I always remember.
Well, it's here in this film that is one of my favorite shots of all time. It is for Frodo.
Yeah, it's mine too. Like, it has to be that. It's either that or it's the scene where those 2 trees are fucking, and they're fucking trees. So trees that fuck. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Or for me, it's I Am No Man, and she stabs the Witch King in the face. So
yes.
Yeah, for Frodo it is such a beautiful moment, but it's also a perfectly executed shot. It's the just right amount of soft focus. He's left the frame. It's a slow dolly in, the perfect beat of time for Frodo, and then the turn, and he just charges towards certain death. Like, fucking forget about it.
Like, for me, it's either for Frodo, but a good competitor to that is I can't carry it. I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. And fucking, like, Sean Astin picked up Elijah Wood in that. Like, that's not, like, those aren't like body doubles and shit. He actually did that.
Yeah, well, good on him. I mean, Elijah Wood looks like he weighs about fucking 30 kilos soaking wet, so it's not. I'm sure it would have been too difficult. But
he was also 19 at the time, so
yeah,
which is insane to think about.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
I have like a few trivia things I want to say though.
Oh, okay, cool. Here we're going to do some trivia before we get to questions.
So, the concept artists that designed the look of how all of Middle Earth would look in The Lord of the Rings are Alan Lee and John Howe. Now, famously, Alan Lee signed on right as Peter Jackson approached him. Both of them have worked and illustrated for Tolkien books, and so some of the set pieces, like the entirety of Isengard, is like Peter Jackson telling John Howe to just give him the extended drawings of the things that he saw in the book that John Howe did. But yeah, also, right. John Howe was living like a hermit in like some island or like around a mountain somewhere in the UK. Or it wasn't even UK, I think it was like Switzerland. And so Peter Jackson and company did not know where he lived. So they made a few calls and kind of found somewhat of an address. And so they sent a package And in the package was, I think it was Heavenly Creatures and Frighteners.
Nice.
And a letter asking him to sign on and come on this project. And they tracked the FedEx delivery service so that they could actually get his address.
Yeah, they'd have to. That's wild.
So yeah, Alan Lee and John Howe were amazing. They're responsible for the look of the Lord of the Rings, and yeah, Howard Shore's music is amazing. It is sensational, and it is generation defining. Like the Fellowship theme and the Three Hunters theme, the Shire theme, they mean more to me than the fucking Force theme in Star Wars.
Yeah. I think if you're of this trilogy, like if that's for you, then yeah, it is really signifying.
I also want to say that when they did Gandalf the White, while they were shooting The Return of the King, both Ian McKellen and Peter Jackson kind of missed the freeness of Gandalf the Grey, and it kind of put them in this sort of, in the sort of mindset that that time has gone. Like the time that we started with the Fellowship, it's gone. This is serious now. And this is something that I found out, which is really weird. So this is the hairstyle that Elrond has in his daughter's wedding, and I'm going to show you.
What the fuck? That's weird. That's weird as fuck, everybody. Have a look at it. Look it up right now.
It is weird. It is.
Looks like he's got a bunch of curly whirlies stuck to his head.
Yeah.
The chocolate bar.
They screen tested it, and it did not look good. Something
No.
So this was the last day of shoot. So they just opened his hair. So but his braids from beside his cheek are still in that zone. So when you watch the scene again, you watch the side of his hair, and it's still in that weird fucking formation.
I'm gonna have to go back now. That is absolutely whack. Nonsense. Do we have any questions for this week?
We do have questions. Fuck me.
Doesn't pre-read the question.
Hey man, I stutter, right? Sometimes.
I stutter as well. I cut out a lot of it, but I do.
Game of Thrones obviously heavily influenced by Return of the King. What other franchise could use Tolkien? Harry
in terms
Potter?
of a TV show, you reckon?
I'd say just in the themes that he tackled.
Say one more time, sorry.
I think the question means by what other franchise could use a bit of Tolkien would be just the way he tackled a lot of themes.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, I'll be interested to see if we're kind of sort of playing in the same realm. Oh, no, if we're playing in the same realm, Sandman, the second season of that would be interesting if they tackled more of the humanity, because it was all gods and monsters kind of thing, so a bit more of the humanity articulated so well. It is a battle for man, it is the age of man. If I was to think about it in terms of something just a normal drama, any TV show that is set in the real world could take on some of the ideas that has from Lord of the Rings, even procedural stuff, simple stuff like that. You could infuse with a little bit more. Yeah, why are we here, and what is the cost of our actions, as opposed to just being everything being about trauma or everything being about overcoming something for yourself. It's all we've all turned inward post-COVID. We're very insular, and it's about this, what I'm struggling, the me of it all, and that's totally fine. You need to do that sometimes in order to be able to grow and make changes and better yourself. But as a grander idea, look at the way that things are happening now in the world, and maybe take on some of these ideas as to how we can all make it better, as as a group, as a human race. That's I'd like to say that. And you could do that in anything that is just people based and doesn't have any wizards or jinns or nymphs or any of that shit in it, you know.
I'll also say that I hope the new Harry Potter series, I hope they're able to get into more of the actual like themes of those characters, and hopefully not involve J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, let's draw a discreet line over that person who's a little bit.
Let's not give her any work or anything, please.
She doesn't fucking need it anyway. Was that all? Is that all the questions?
That's all the questions.
That's it. That's it, friends. We've come to the end of another one. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in a couple of days, actually, and you'll hear us chatting about some Halloweeny stuff. But yeah, until then, thanks for joining us. I love you, mate. Addy, you little fucking tree fucker. Bless you, my friend. But for everybody else, remember,
stay amazing, stay safe. Meow.
Paul's gonna love that.